How to control your destiny. Have you ever wondered why, even with all the technological advancements, we still struggle to find peace and purpose in our lives? The answer may lie in the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. Embarking on the journey to master one's own destiny in a realm saturated with digital distractions and incessant external demands may feel like navigating a ship through a storm. However, Marcus Aurelius, an emblem of Stoic wisdom, conveys a timeless insight. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. This thought highlights a profound truth about the human experience and aspiration. The essence of guiding our destiny does not reside in the relentless pursuit of external validations, but rather in valuing and exerting influence over what is within reach of our hands. In past eras, the simplicity of life, marked by limited external stimuli and a narrower scope of social interaction, somewhat facilitated the effort to align the internal compass. On the other hand, the current digital age, with its myriad distractions, portrays the quest to rule our destiny as Herculean. However, it is this challenge that we resolve to confront head-on. Our goal? To empower you to transcend the dependence on external forces and claim sovereignty over your destiny. If the prospect of personal transformation and the acquisition of wisdom stirs your spirit, you have found your refuge. We invite you to join our community by subscribing and showing your support with a like, allowing us to create more content that illuminates the path to self-control. Prepare for an enlightening journey, dedicated to nurturing inner tranquility through Stoic teachings. Our discourse covers a wide range of subjects, each chosen to significantly enrich the tapestry of your life. Remember, there is no obligation to digest this feast of wisdom all at once. However, if you choose to do so, bravo. Alternatively, this space remains a sanctuary for you to revisit, allowing insights to penetrate deeper with each encounter. Now, let us embark on this transformative journey. As we explore the principles that underpin Stoicism, we will delve into practical applications and personal anecdotes that bring these concepts to life. Imagine facing life's vicissitudes with a calm heart and a clear mind, equipped with the tools to discern what is within your power and what is not. How liberating it is to focus your energies on what truly matters, fostering a deeply rooted contentment and resilience. What aspects of your life have you placed in the hands of external circumstances? Reflecting on this, consider how reclaiming these threads can weave a tapestry of richer and more vibrant existence. Are you ready to transform your reality? Cultivate a life of purpose and calm amidst the storm. Your path to self-control awaits you. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Philosophy of Stoicism and the Mastery of Destiny. Stoicism, this timeless philosophy that teaches us serenity in the face of chaos, to accept the uncontrollable, and to focus on what truly lies within our domain. Imagine yourself on a boat amidst a storm. The waves are the challenges of modern life, and you, well, you are the captain of that boat. Stoicism is the map and compass that will help you navigate. Why, after all, speak of Stoicism in an era filled with advanced technologies and instant connections? The answer is simple yet profoundly complex, because, deep down, we all seek the tranquility of the soul and control over our destiny. Isn't it curious how, despite so many advancements, we still encounter the same essential questions that our ancestors faced? Stoicism teaches us, above all, to differentiate what is in our hands from what is not. Think about it. How often do we get lost in worries about events that, in reality, are beyond our control? This is where the concept of amor fati, or love of fate, comes in. It's not about passive resignation, but active and passionate acceptance of everything life brings us, with the understanding that each experience has its value, but how to apply these principles in our daily lives, especially when anti-Stoic habits seem so ingrained in our society. Start by taking a pause. Yes, a simple pause to reflect on your actions, your thoughts, and above all, your reactions. Clear decisions, those made with serenity and awareness, are the beacon that guides the Stoic. Each conscious choice is a step towards a state of greater control and inner harmony. Now, imagine turning your daily routine into an exercise in inner strength. A Stoic practice doesn't need to be rigid or tedious. On the contrary, it should vibrate with life. Integrate small habits like morning reflection on what you can control, practicing gratitude at the end of the day, or even meditating on the impermanence of things. It's these moments of connection with yourself that cultivate a resilient mind and an unshakable spirit. And here's a rhetorical question for you. Wouldn't it be revolutionary if each of us could indeed discern what is in our power to change and what we must simply accept? Stoicism doesn't just offer us a philosophy of life. It offers us practical tools to live better, with more purpose and meaning. So I invite you to embark on this journey of self-discovery and growth. It's not a journey without challenges, but it is undoubtedly one of the most rewarding. And remember, Stoicism is not just about facing adversity. It's about turning it into opportunities. It's about loving every aspect of your destiny, knowing that in the end, we are the ones who build our happiness, one conscious moment at a time. So let's explore these principles together. Allow yourself to be guided by Stoic wisdom and discover how it can illuminate your path, especially in times as turbulent as ours. This is the invitation I extend to you. To strengthen yourself internally, to make your day-to-day more productive, and above all, to take the reins of your destiny with courage and serenity. Are you ready for this journey? Chapter 2: Destructive Habits and How to Overcome Them with Stoicism. On our journey through existence, we often encounter stones that obstruct our path towards serenity and personal fulfillment. These stones often are habits we cultivate without realizing, which can lead us away from the path of virtue and inner peace advocated by Stoicism. These anti-Stoic habits, true obstacles in our way, can be transformed by adopting practices inspired by Stoic wisdom. Let's explore them together. 1. Procrastination, that sneaky villain. The art of postponing. Who hasn't found themselves navigating a sea of excuses to avoid starting a task? Who hasn't found themselves promising, "I'll do it tomorrow," only to discover that all tomorrows turned into never? Procrastination robs us of the present, and with it, the potential for accomplishment. How can we turn the tables? Simple. Start your day with determination, facing that task that seems most challenging. Remember, every step taken is a victory over the habit of procrastination. Drawing inspiration from Marcus Aurelius, acting and living in the now should be our compass. 2. Fallacies and lies. The temptation to adjust reality, whether to protect ourselves or avoid conflicts, is great. But in the end, we only find ourselves lost in a web of half-truths. How about cultivating brutal honesty with oneself and with others? As Epictetus teaches us, only say things that reflect your sincere thoughts and act in accordance with what you deem important. 3. Poor communication. A misplaced word or an untimely silence can lead to misunderstandings and unnecessary conflicts. How many times have misunderstandings arisen from words left unsaid or poorly expressed? Learning to communicate our thoughts and feelings clearly and respectfully can transform relationships. Listen attentively, speak carefully, and always seek mutual understanding. Remember Epictetus's maxim, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The truth, even if harsh, builds a solid path beneath our feet. 4. Constant comparison with others. Observing others' lives and measuring our worth by their achievements is a trap that only leads to dissatisfaction. Why not focus on our own journey, celebrating each step taken, each small victory? As Seneca reminds us, true value lies in what we already have, not in what we lack. 5. Blame game. Blaming others or circumstances for our misfortunes is to relinquish control over our own lives. How about instead taking responsibility for our choices and reactions? Marcus Aurelius advises, "You have power over your mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Integrating these Stoic practices into our daily lives does not mean a transformation overnight. It is a process, a journey that requires reflection, effort, and above all, compassion for ourselves. Why not start today? How about taking a moment to think about these habits and how we can gradually replace them with actions more aligned with our deepest values? And so, which of these steps are you ready to take today? Remember, the beauty of the Stoic journey lies precisely in the constant pursuit of growth and wisdom. Chapter 3. The Power of Solitude in Stoicism. Imagine for a moment that you find yourself in a tranquil retreat, far from the everyday hustle and bustle, a place where time seems to slow down, allowing you to breathe deeply and look within. This experience, my dear listeners, is the essence of chosen solitude, not as a state of isolation, but as a precious opportunity for self-reflection, personal growth, and the mastery of one's own emotions and actions. At the heart of Stoic philosophy, we find a courageous invitation to embrace solitude, recognizing it as a stage for deep introspection and the diligent practice of Stoic principles in daily life. In solitude, we distance ourselves from distractions and the constant flow of information that inundate our days, creating a sacred space for contemplation and self-examination. It is in this silence that we can hear more clearly the inner voice, the one that speaks to us of our deepest values, our true desires, and perhaps most importantly, our areas of growth. Seneca, one of our revered Stoic masters, reminds us that time spent in self-analysis is essential for virtuous living, for it is through self-knowledge that one can govern life wisely. The practice of solitude also offers us a training ground for mastering emotions. By voluntarily isolating ourselves, we confront our joys, fears, sorrows, and frustrations head-on, without the temptation to seek external distractions. This is the time to apply and live out Stoic teachings, such as acceptance of what we cannot control and focus on what is within our reach. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, saw in solitude an opportunity to strengthen emotional resilience and mental clarity, preparing oneself to act with virtue and equanimity in the face of life's challenges. And how can we, in practice, incorporate this Stoic wisdom into our busy lives? Start by setting aside moments of the day to be alone with yourself, whether in nature or in a quiet corner of your home. Use this time to meditate, to reflect on your daily thoughts and actions, and to plan how you can live more in line with Stoic principles. Keep a journal of reflections, a habit that can help clarify your thoughts and observe your progress on the Stoic path. Solitude, far from being a state to be avoided, is an invitation to reconnect with oneself, to cultivate inner peace, and to build a life filled with meaning. In this space of quietude, we discover the strength to face life's storms with courage, wisdom, and serenity. How about taking the first step today, setting aside time to be alone with yourself and your thoughts? The Stoic journey begins with a simple act of introspection, paving the way for a life of purpose and tranquility. Chapter 4. The importance of routine in avoiding procrastination. Picture yourself on a calm morning, the sun just starting to spread its rays through the window. You feel refreshed, ready to face the day with vigor and determination. But where to begin? Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, leaves us a legacy that transcends time, especially when it comes to building a daily routine that not only combats procrastination, but also enhances our productivity and discipline. Why, after all, would Marcus Aurelius be a source of inspiration for us in this modern world, so saturated with distractions and constantly on the brink of chaos? The answer lies in the simplicity and depth of his Stoic philosophy, which promotes a life guided by reason, control over emotions, and actions aligned with our deepest values. So how can we apply these ancient principles to our daily routine to unleash unprecedented personal and professional growth? Grab a paper and pen and start taking notes. 1. Start the day with reflection. Marcus Aurelius dedicated a moment of his morning to reflect on what he expected from the day. This is not just about planning tasks, but preparing the mind to face challenges, interactions with others, and inevitable setbacks with serenity and perspective. How about starting the day with a simple yet powerful question? What can I do today to move closer to the person I want to be? 2. Active acceptance. Often we procrastinate because we fear the discomfort of a difficult task or face internal resistance to change. Marcus teaches us to accept these tasks not as obstacles, but as essential parts of the path to our growth. By approaching each task with acceptance, we remove the emotional barrier that separates us from action. 3. Day division into blocks. Marcus Aurelius's productivity was not a coincidence. He divided his day into blocks, dedicating each one to a specific task. This approach allows us to focus our energy and attention where it is most needed, turning the overwhelming to-do list into a set of manageable tasks. 4. Evening reflection. Just as dawn brings reflection, dusk offers the opportunity to look back and evaluate. What went well? Where can I improve? This practice is not to cultivate regrets, but to recognize our victories and learn from our mistakes. Now imagine yourself at the end of a day, faithfully followed by a routine inspired by Marcus Aurelius. Will you feel accomplished? Undoubtedly. But more importantly, you will have taken significant steps toward your personal and professional growth. But how to maintain this routine without falling into monotony? The key is in variety and flexibility. Integrate new learnings, adjust your routine as needed, and remember that the goal is not perfection, but constant progress. Are you ready to take control of your day, inspired by the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, and bid farewell to procrastination, increasing your productivity and discipline? Remember, each day is a new opportunity to be the best version of yourself. It's not just about doing more, but about being more. And that, my friends, is truly inspiring. Chapter 5. Practical tips to combat procrastination. Still haven't grabbed a pen and paper? How will you follow these important steps I'm about to share with you right now? Come on, leave procrastination behind. As we embark on the journey to combat procrastination, following in the footsteps of great Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, we find a battlefield not in the external world, but within ourselves. Here, we face our greatest challenges, distractions, lack of motivation, and above all, our own mind. But just as warriors train for battle, we can equip ourselves with strategies and weapons to win this internal battle and cultivate a life of discipline and purpose. Let's explore some of these tactics. 1. Shift of focus. When the mind wanders into the land of procrastination, redirecting it can be as simple as asking, what is the smallest action I can take right now towards my goal? This first step doesn't need to be giant. It just needs to be in the right direction. Sometimes the simple act of starting can break the inertia that keeps us paralyzed. 2. Elimination of low-level distractions. Our environment can be our greatest ally or our greatest enemy. Distractions like social media notifications, the constant flow of emails, and the disorganized physical environment can divert our attention from what really matters. Stoic practice teaches us to control what we can and let go of what we can't. Turning off notifications, establishing specific times to check emails, and maintaining an orderly work environment are simple yet powerful steps to maintain focus. 3. Task division into manageable parts. Facing an immense task can be intimidating. However, breaking down that task into smaller components creates a series of more manageable challenges. Each small victory motivates us to continue, turning a mountain into a series of hills that we can conquer step by step. 4. Tackle the most difficult task. First, Marcus Aurelius advises us to confront our fears and challenges directly. By starting the day with the most challenging task, we not only leverage our morning energy, but also experience a sense of accomplishment and confidence that propels us through the rest of the day. 5. Pomodoro Technique. Developed by Francesco Cirillo in the late 1980s, this technique involves working focused for 25 minutes straight, followed by a short 5-minute break. These short intervals keep the mind fresh and focused, allowing us to approach tasks with renewed energy and concentration. After 4 cycles, a longer break is recommended, offering us the opportunity to reflect on progress and adjust our focus if necessary. 6. Elimination of distractions. Proactively identifying and eliminating sources of distraction can significantly increase our productivity. This may mean turning off the phone, using apps that block distracting sites, or simply choosing a work environment where the likelihood of being interrupted is minimal. By implementing these strategies, we cultivate not only a more productive routine, but also a more intentional life aligned with our deepest values. The fight against procrastination is, in essence, a practice of self-awareness and self-discipline, pillars of Stoicism that Marcus Aurelius valued so much. This is just the beginning of your Stoic journey. Subscribe and activate notifications so you don't miss our next videos, where we'll explore even more deeply how Stoicism can transform your life. Join us and take control of your destiny today and always. We always remind you that the journey towards a disciplined and purposeful life is not a straight line, but a winding path, full of learning and discoveries. By adopting these strategies, we arm ourselves not only against procrastination, but also prepare ourselves to live a life of fulfillment and meaning. And you, are you ready to take the next step on this journey?